anyone was wondering what Professor McGonagall did in her free time and after she retired, she clearly has a dairy farm. Hello everyone! Today we are making pound cake. I know it sounds kind of old-fashioned, but I still think it's delicious. So sometimes you just can't go wrong with the classics. To start, we're going to cream together some butter and some sugar. And just a heads up, I'm cutting this recipe in half because it calls for 6 eggs and makes a lot of pound cake, and I don't need that much pound cake. So we need 3 cups of white sugar. No, we don't. We're cutting this recipe in half. We need 1.5 cups of white sugar. So 1.5 cups, this is my half-cup measuring spoon. I did not measure wrong, I promise. And then we need 1 cup of butter. If anyone was wondering what Professor McGonagall did in her free time and after she retired, she clearly has a dairy farm. A cup of butter is 2 sticks of butter. And clearly I don't have sticks with me, but this is 1 pound, so I just need half of this block of butter. In we go. So we are going to cream together our butter and our sugar. You can do this by hand like I'm going to do, or you can do it with a hand mixer or stand mixer. We just want to work all of the sugar and the butter together so that it's a smooth mixture. Alright, once your butter and sugar are creamed together so that they're somewhat light and fluffy, you'll get more of that effect with a stand mixer or a hand mixer. Let's go ahead and preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And a note about the butter, you want to make sure it's soft, because if it's cold from being in the fridge, it's going to be very difficult for you to cream it together with your sugar. So even I had gotten my butter out and let it sit so that it was room temperature, but it hadn't quite got to room temperature stage. So luckily today I used a microwave safe bowl, and I just popped the bowl in the microwave for about 10 seconds, and that just softened the butter enough so that it was a lot easier to work into the sugar. Now, you do not want your butter melted, just soft. Next up, we are going to add in our eggs. So this is very rare of me to do, but mine are actually at room temperature. Room temperature eggs are ideal, but if you have to get them straight out of the fridge, that's okay too. So we're just going to crack these into our butter and sugar mixture one at a time. So doing it one at a time just helps us to make sure that we get all of the eggs well incorporated into our butter and sugar. Last one. Here we go. All right, next up we're going to add in flour and milk. So we just have all-purpose flour. And we have a 1/3 cup of milk. And we're gonna add these in alternating between flour and milk. And again, that's just another step to help us evenly incorporate all of our ingredients together. So we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Make sure you spoon your flour into your measuring cup. Flour is packable, so if you just scoop it straight out of your container, you're going to be putting in more flour than we need. So let's work in that first half cup of flour. Splash of milk. Make sure you're scraping your sides down. Another half cup of flour brings us to 1 cup. Another splash of milk. Another half cup of flour. That brings us to 1.5 cups. Another splash of milk. And the last half cup of flour, which brings us to 2 cups. All right, and then our last splash of milk, giving us the last bit in our 1/3 cup of milk. Get that all mixed in. And my batter looks really silky. That's awesome. And I had to give the batter a taste test. You want to make sure it's up to par. And it's just a simple, sweet, subtle flavor. It's really nice. And I had to double check my recipe because I was like, isn't there supposed to be like vanilla extract or something in there? But nope, just butter, sugar, eggs, flour, and milk. All right, so let's go get our bread pans. So our recipe tells us to grease 3 8x4 loaf pans. I don't have 8x4 inch loaf pans. I have 5.75 by 3 inch loaf pans, so just little ones. So you can fit your pans with parchment paper, and the way I've done mine today, I'm going to oil the short ends because the bottom and the long sides I have parchment covering. The recipe actually says to grease your baking pans and then put parchment in them, which my thought is that the grease would help the parchment stay in place, which makes sense. Parchment does not like to be told where to stay. I hope that's enough oil. Well, if it's not, I'm sure we'll make it. Now the task of evenly distributing your batter amongst the pans. So this is where I like to get a measuring cup out, and I have a 1/2 cup measuring cup, and I'm just going to use that, and one at a time take a scoop of dough, put it in one of my pans, and then just keep rotating, filling each pan with 1 scoop until there's no more batter left. It is quite thick batter. So we're gonna get a spatula to help us clean it all out. Just like a lot of baked goods when there's a dough, this one's a pretty solid one that you're gonna wanna lick the spoon. All right, then just do your best to evenly distribute whatever's residual in your bowl amongst your bread pans. And then you can either just use your spatula or tap your pans on your countertop to get the batter to like kind of even out onto the bottom of the bread pan. All right, then these are gonna go in the oven for, the recipe says 70 minutes, 70. I do have them in smaller pans, so I'm hesitant to just go with 70. What I think I'm gonna do is put them in for 45 and check on them, but in the end, I'll let you know how long mine cook in these little pans. All right, so did 45 minutes on these little beauties. I know there are 2 more, don't worry, I didn't forget about them. But I have a toothpick, insert it straight down, maybe. I want you guys to see the clean toothpick. Okay, so we had a clean toothpick come out. So 45 minutes was perfect. Look at them. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see if I can let you guys hear the crackle of the warm bread. There's something about that little crackle of warm food. The recipe says we immediately want to get these out of their pans. Now the recipe says to use a knife to loosen them from the pan, but my mama taught me better. I have nonstick bread pans here, and so I don't want to do metal on metal because I don't want to scratch open the nonstick surface. There we go. Not too bad for my ends. Could have done better. That's okay. Let's get the rest of these. I'm just using a plastic spatula. If you have a plastic knife, that would work great too. Here we have it. Oh. Always read the recipe first. It's not a big deal. We're supposed to leave these in the pan for 10 minutes. After we loosen the edges from the pan, leave them in the pan for 10 minutes, and then take them out. I don't make the rules. Be back in 10 minutes, then we'll try these out. Let's get one of these little guys out for us. Comes off the parchment real nice. Look at this cute little guy. Got a crispy little outside. And a nice dense inside, so it was really easy to cut. Shall we give a piece a try? It is still nice and warm. Look at that. I'm a big fan. It's delicately sweet, simple flavors, but delicious. I would totally make this again. This really hits the spot for me because when it comes to cake, I really like dense cakes. I feel like I want to be eating something, like have that dense mouthfeel and not just air. I don't know if you can relate or not. But my goodness, guys, this is great. Something I thought of doing, which I might do next time, is add in some citrus zest. So either from an orange or lemon or both into the batter. And then you could create a powdered sugar glaze and put some more zest in the glaze and then just drizzle it over the top. Whoa. But that would just be adding to the wonderfulness of this already wonderful pound cake. Perfect to go with coffee or tea, or I know some people use it to dip in like a chocolate fountain. And you still get that crunchy outside that I mentioned when we cut into it. I just really like all of those textures together. A little bit of crunchy outside, a little bit of chewy but not undercooked inside. So yeah, there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from me, hit that subscribe button and that bell so you know when I drop the next video tutorial. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.